Now, ABC 7 News at 6 on your side.
Even the slightest deviation from Dorian's projected path could be a catastrophic event for our community.
If the storm comes closer, we're leaving. If it turns and goes towards the north, we're going to stick it out.
We're all bunkered down right now. Got a generator and plenty of food and water, so we're ready.
Time is running out to get ready.
Urgent warnings are going out from officials as millions in the southeast decide whether or not they will stay or leave their homes. And breaking news just in, this storm has killed 5 people in the Bahamas. Hurricane Dorian is causing catastrophic damage there right now as it is not moving.
And this monster storm has sustained winds of 145 miles per hour. That's as strong as an EF3 tornado. Officials in the Bahamas are urging people to find flotation devices as floodwaters continue to rise there. The storm surge expected to reach a whopping 23 feet. Just catastrophic when you think about it. The storm is now a Category 4 storm, as we mentioned, but that does not mean it's any less dangerous now that it's no longer a 5. It was downgraded in just a matter of a few miles per hour in wind speed. Category 4 hurricanes can destroy homes, uproot trees, snap power lines, and of course cost lives.
So all eyes right now are on where Dorian is heading next. The hurricane is moving extremely slowly. In fact, it is stationary, and at one point today it was moving 1 mile an hour. That's not even moving. This is now off the coast of Florida a good distance, and it is heading towards Georgia and the Carolinas.
Tonight, more than 2 million people have been ordered to evacuate along the coast. 1.3 million in Georgia and South Carolina are being told to get out, and more than 1 million are being told to leave their homes in Florida.
In Georgia, the governor there is warning emergency responders they may not be able to reach people living on the barrier islands once this storm hits. The causeways could end up underwater or even blocked by debris. And in parts of Florida, police officers there are going door to door telling people you got to leave. Hospitals there are also being evacuated.
Some heavy rain already falling in Florida as the outer bands of Dorian move in. This video is from our team of storm chasers with Live Storms Media.
And taking a look at the conditions there on the east coast of Florida, you can see the wind picking up as the storm inches ever so closer. Now, we've just learned that people in West Palm Beach are already being asked to shelter in place as though it is now a little too late. ABC 7 has team coverage on Dorian tonight, keeping you informed on this potentially life-threatening hurricane.
A lot to get to here. Our Brad Bell is live in Florida, tracking the conditions there. Our Carl Willis is hearing from people in the Bahamas as the storm barrels through. And our team of meteorologists keeping a close eye on Dorian's path. So let's begin in the Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly. Bill?
Well, guys, we continue to get these intermediate updates. This one here at the top of the hour, the freshest information, 6 o'clock winds still at 145 miles per hour. As you mentioned, that is a Category 4 storm. It's shy of a 5, but man, it is still, as you also mentioned, equally as dangerous. Stationary. It just has moved. This is a 3-hour loop, and I have my finger right in the eye, and you can see this just north of Grand Bahama Island. And those outer bands not only pushing into Florida, but beyond into sections of the Gulf. So let me give you the freshest track here as we head on into the night tonight and into the day tomorrow. It is still forecast to take a northerly shift, but we advance this here nearly 24 hours from now, and there's still hardly any movement, relatively speaking. Forecast to drop, continue to drop a little bit to a Category 3 and generally stay offshore in terms of the heart of the storm. Certainly feeling this up and down the entire eastern seaboard of Florida, most likely Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina. Here's Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then it starts to generate a little bit more speed, and we take you here to Thursday in the afternoon. Still 110 mile per hour winds, and I'll draw out that that cone does bring that potential inland to parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, and then it shoots it off to the northeast by Friday at 2 o'clock. Should be off, hopefully, off well into the Atlantic and continuing to weaken as it gets into some cooler water up there. We will continue to track this for you and talk about our local conditions coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, Bill, thank you. An agonizing waiting game along Florida's east coast tonight. Everyone wondering, will the storm's devastating eye and winds around it stay offshore, or will it come dangerously close? ABC 7's Brad Bell is live for us in Stuart, Florida right now. And Brad, many are praying the storm won't claim their homes, their town, or their beach.
Oh boy, we've heard many people say that they are in fact praying for exactly that, because there's nothing else they can do at this point. Look, people in this community have been waiting for this storm for days now. We've been down here tracking it for days now. I want to show you the scene. It is bizarre. So we're in Stewart. We're very close to the storm, less than 100 miles to the meat of it. But take a look out here. You see some blue sky. It's not all that bad. I'm going to walk around, and out there I can see some of the dark bands. We've been experiencing these outer bands of the storm. They come whipping across, and I mean whipping. They move through very quickly. The wind picks up. We get these tropical storm force gusts, and we get a downpour, and then it's gone. So we're here where we're keeping an eye on the possibility of storm surge, not seeing it. I want to show you some video that we captured earlier today out on the beach here in Stewart. It's just a couple miles from where we are, and the surf today was impressive. It was really clawing away at the sand. Beach erosion is certainly going to be a big issue. We saw it today. And one sad thing, you might not think about it, that beach out there is where sea turtles nest, and it's the prime season. These waves have been destroying those nests. We saw sea turtle eggs all up and down the sand. Those turtles are not going to hatch. As for damage to property, so far nothing here. The storm surge has not been anything yet that's going to cause any concern. But again, it's all about the path of that storm. If it stays offshore, they're not going to have it. If it comes in, it could get really bad. And we're going to be here and continue to track this storm, and we'll keep you up to speed on the very latest. In Stewart, Florida, Brad Bell, ABC 7 News.
Brad, thank you for your reporting. Just in, Governor Northam has declared a state of emergency ahead of Dorian. He says it's to ensure that Virginia can help in the anticipated recovery efforts. The state of emergency allows the Commonwealth to mobilize resources and deploy teams where they are needed.
Well, more than 1,000 flights now have been canceled as Dorian is approaching. A number of airports are closed right now in Florida. Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Melbourne closed at noon today. The Orlando International Airport was planning to close but has decided to stay open for the time being.
And we, of course, have much more on the powerful hurricane still to come in just minutes. We'll hear directly from people who are in the Bahamas right now as Dorian continues to barrel through. And Sinclair has a network of reporters providing coverage through Dorian. Stay with the Stormwatch 7 team for the latest updates and download the free Stormwatch 7 app to get alerts sent right to your phone.
Now, coming up for us here at 6 o'clock, a relative of a Washington Wizards star behind bars. Well, we're learning about how a road rage incident may have led to a woman being paralyzed.
And here is a live look at pictures out of Florida as we continue to track the storm as it inches closer to the southeastern part of the U.S. Another look here at the changing path and how people in the Bahamas are coping. That's coming up.
And Labor Day festivities across our area happening today. A parade in Greenbelt. Looks like fun. We'll be right back.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 6 on your side.
Montgomery County Police have arrested the nephew of Washington Wizards superstar John Wall.
The criminal case is so serious. Wall's nephew, DeAndre Wall, faces life in prison. Cops say DeAndre Wall shot into a car during a random road rage incident, paralyzing a young woman. Montgomery County reporter Kevin Lewis broke the story, and he is in Germantown tonight with the details you'll see only on 7.
Police say an abrupt lane change on this Germantown road set off DeAndre Wall, the nephew of Wizards point guard John Wall. The 28-year-old allegedly followed the vehicle that cut him off into this apartment complex. Tempers flared. DeAndre Wall allegedly grabbed a handgun from his glove box and opened fire into the victim's car. The male driver uninjured. The female passenger hit in the back and now paralyzed. This article on slamonline.com states John and DeAndre grew up in the same Raleigh, North Carolina home. In 2015, John moved DeAndre to D.C. to help straighten out his life. The two relatives pictured on DeAndre's Instagram account. In fact, law enforcement sources say DeAndre worked as a landscaper at his uncle's $5 million Potomac mansion. John Wall, who's in the middle of a 4-year, $170 million NBA contract, declined comment. We reached out to the Wizards, and they told us, "We are aware of the situation and have been in contact with John. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families, and we won't have any further comment."
People need to learn how to find a better way to control their anger.
Betty Sue Rollins was on her balcony and heard the gunshots.
So people have this stuff going through their mind, and whatever bothered them through the day as they go through a commute, they take that anger out on everyone else.
And police say DeAndre Wall had paperwork in his apartment connected to the Bloods Street gang. Wall could spend the rest of his life in prison. In Germantown, I'm Kevin Lewis, ABC 7 News.
And on this Monday, it was 74 years ago today that the Japanese officially surrendered, ending World War II. Today at the World War II Memorial, it was a commemoration. I was fortunate enough to MC out there, and there were about a dozen World War II veterans on hand. As we were laying wreaths out there, people were coming up and shaking their hands, thanking them for their service and asking them about their service. It is, after all, living history. 74 years ago, the bloodiest war ever to be fought on this planet came to an end.
Coming up for us, dogs safe from Dorian, but now need your help. How volunteers are working to make sure these pups have a good life in the DMV.
Continue our team coverage now of Hurricane Dorian. The Bahamas still getting battered. Look at this. Homes are flooded and destroyed. Debris is scattered throughout neighborhoods. This is a live picture right now. It comes in and out for us. The storm continues to tear through this area, and we're told the storm surge could be over 20 feet in some areas. And take a look at this map. We wanted to give you some perspective on the size of the islands of the Bahamas that have now been taking the brunt of the storm. We created this overlay of the islands over the DMV to give you a comparison. You can see they're bigger. ABC 7's Carl Willis spoke to one woman from the Bahamas who's trying to get a hold of family. He continues our team coverage.
People, they've worked their entire lives and they can't even get into a car because that car has been flipped over by a tornado. They can't get to the house because the house is caving in.
Bahamian Thea Nixon has relatives in both Freeport, Grand Bahama Island and the Abaco Islands. She lives in the States now, and the images of destruction coming from her home are only compounding her fear, since she can't get through to anyone.
We're all just sharing pictures, hoping people with satellite phones can say, these people are here, these people are there, so we just have an idea of what to do so we can know when we send aid where to send these boxes of things so that we could help our friends and relatives.
Nixon is a journalist. One of her colleagues, David Mackey, lives on Grand Bahama Island, where water was reaching the second floor of his home that's on stilts,
which would be about 8 feet right now.
The focus shifts to rescue, recovery, and prayer, according to the Bahamian Prime Minister, after one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes in recorded history.
We've been hearing amazing stories of like 41 people in one home, of people opening their doors with their roof blowing off, but still letting people in because there's nowhere else to go.
Those who would like to help are being asked to contact the Bahamian Consulate General in Miami. Carl Willis, ABC 7 News.
And humans aren't the only ones evacuating ahead of the storm. Lucky Dog Animal Rescue in Arlington welcomed nearly 20 barking friends from South Carolina to the shelter here. The goal is to keep them safe, help them find forever homes, and make room in the shelters in the storm's path. And if you would like to adopt or foster any of these dogs, find out how at WJLA.com.
All right, switching gears now. Many in our area have the day off to celebrate Labor Day, but the holiday also means a fun annual tradition in Greenbelt.
That's right. Our Sam Ford was there for the 65th Labor Day Parade.
They marched down the streets of Greenbelt for the annual Labor Day Parade and Festival for the 65th year in a row. All different kinds of groups celebrating.
The weather's good. People feel good. Can't ask for better.
Love it. Love Greenbelt, love the Labor Day Festival, the parade.
End of summer party, and the mayor says time for folks who used to live here to come back.
You know, this is a Greenbelt tradition. It's sort of like a homecoming.
A couple of retired electrical workers noted how few labor organizations participated this year as they talked about how dangerous their jobs sometimes were.
This is not for Harriet or Harriet homeowner. This is something to call us for.
A mishap where I blew a hole in my leather glove and had an opening in my hand the size of a $50, and it burned me up to where my t-shirt was.
Fortunately, he recovered. A big part of the festival is the carnival, and on the stage, Elvis impersonator Johnny Seaton is a regular at Greenbelt's Labor Day celebration. He had them on their feet dancing to the 50s and 60s rock and roll music.
All right, guys, shifting gears, I want to focus locally. Look at this camera here from the National Harbor looking off to the west. Very heavy rainfall in Arlington, and then also to the left side of your screen, there's a shelf cloud. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning going to tell you about in a second. 84 in D.C., low 70s in Chantilly after that rain cool air moved through, where it's 85 right now in Leonardtown. So here's the radar, the clouds and radar over the last 3 hours, and we're really tracking this storm right here that's in parts of Fairfax County and Prince William County. It's highly charged. There are a ton of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes with this and blinding rainfall essentially from the mixing bowl here around the Beltway and 95 all the way down to Triangle. That is going to be a very wet, very slow drive with the potential for winds at 60 miles per hour or greater, and maybe some hail in there as well. So that warning in Prince William County expires at 6:30. The one for Fairfax County, and in just touching here into Prince William County, that expires at 7 o'clock. So we're going to be tracking this. It's moving fairly slowly off to the east at about 20 miles per hour or so. So that would put it in Piscataway right around 6:45. Mount Vernon here in the next several minutes as it just works over your area. And then Waldorf right around 7 o'clock or so. So that's what we're going to focus on. And our storm track, our futurecast shows you that. We're just doing a good job picking up those storms around the area. They will go for the next several hours, these pop-up showers and storms with the occasional strong to severe thunderstorm through at least 9 to 10 o'clock tonight. We get past that, say 11 and midnight, things should wind down considerably, and then we hop on into your day tomorrow, and I do expect it to be dry. It is going to be on the muggy side, but it should be dry. So for tonight, that chance for showers and storms pretty much each hour all the way through 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, we start out at 71. We end up in the mid-80s with plenty of sunshine. But as mentioned, it is going to be a bit muggy, and then it's another hot day on Wednesday, 92 degrees. Cold front comes through Wednesday night, and that will drop us down into the 70s for Thursday and Friday. And we're also tracking the moisture from Dorian potentially working into our area by the end of the week. You're watching ABC 7 here at 6. We'll be right back.
And now, the Toyota Sports Desk, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
All right, Nats and Mets today. Huge series before getting to the Atlanta Braves. Our producer, Winston, says the Mets fans were strong today at Nats Park, and it showed. So we start with the Mets leading 2-0 in the fourth. Jeff McNeil doubles that in a hurry. Look at that. The shot to deep right over the high wall. So it's 4-zip New York. Mets came in and just destroyed. They won 7-3. Atlanta, they also won, so the Nats are now 6.5 games back in the NL East. By the way, high school football season is underway in our area. We need your help to decide our game of the week. Stonebridge at James Madison or Wise at Eleanor Roosevelt. You can log on to our website, WJLA.com/game of the week to cast your vote. So there you go.
That's fun. That
it
the
is.
audience can
I know, right?
Participation.
Yeah.
Once again, we're back. It's high school football.
Thank you.
Good stuff. So we're tracking those severe thunderstorms in our area. In Prince William County, that's set to expire here at about 5 minutes or so. But we'll watch that one in Fairfax County until 7 o'clock. Very strong winds possible. Of course, very heavy rainfall with lots of lightning. But we'll continue to watch that. Now, looking ahead, we go up to 92 on your day Wednesday. Then the front comes through, drops our numbers into the 70s for Thursday and Friday, and late Thursday and into the day Friday. That's where we will watch for the possibility of the rainfall associated with Dorian reaching our area. And then it should dry out for the weekend. And at this point, a nice weekend in store. The caveat will be if and when Dorian starts picking up that speed. If it stays on track, that holds. If it delays a little bit, that could push into the weekend. So that's what we'll be watching.
Meantime, terrible traffic Tuesday looks like a great weather day.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So we got that going for us.
Yes. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.
Thanks for being with us. Hope to see you back here tonight at 11 o'clock.